Boom! We are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Nolan Hawkeye Anthony YouTube channel. And I thank all of you for being here, wherever you may be. And of course, however you may be listening. Iowa received a commitment recently from tight end Michael Burt. And we will be looking into that. This is a big deal. I mean, anytime Iowa lands a commitment at a position that they value a lot, it's a big deal. Furthermore, for me specifically, I was really hoping that they were going to land the commitment from this kid because you look at him and just on the surface, he has an excellent build, an excellent frame. And I think Iowa is going to be able to do a lot with him. I mean, this guy is like, he screams tight end. So let's take a look real quick at his recruiting profile. We're just going to dive right into it. By the way, like, comment, share, subscribe. I want the channel to get to 2,000 subs by the time the football season starts. We're well on our way there. I thank all of you who have already subscribed. You guys are awesome. So thank you so much. Here is his recruiting profile here. He's 6'5.5". Some places have him as 6'6", 226 pounds. And like I said, he holds all of that frame. His lower body is very, very thick. He's got some big thighs, big round arse. And if you listen to the combine NFL stuff, that is what they're always talking about is they're always mentioning that kind of athletic build. And at certain positions, offensive line, tight end, they look for the kind of thick lower half. They landed him out of Nebraska, and Iowa was the first school to offer him. Now, of course, Nebraska ended up being a player in this. They offered him soon after. And a lot of people are tabulating this as a major victory for the Iowa Hawkeyes. And it is. But I just want to keep it in context a little bit. Nebraska does already have 2 commitments at the tight end position, and they're vying for in-state 4-star, one of the top 5 tight ends in the country, Carter Nelson. So while it's a big get, I just want to pump the brakes slightly on it. And, again, Nebraska was definitely in on him as he took an official visit to Lincoln. So this is a win. Okay. I make no mistake, but the other facts of this are true as well. On3 gives him a grade of an 87, pretty good grade. 247 Sports gives him a grade of an 86, and Rivals gives him a grade of a 5.5. I believe he plays multiple sports, which again is what Iowa loves in its athletes as a whole, but definitely their tight ends. They like multi-sport athletes. So that's a good sign. All the way around, this is a win, and this Iowa class is shaping up to be very solid. I think that this class is going to be a top 35 class for the high school ranks. They have a lot of good movement, and I think there are quite a few commitments on this Iowa Hawkeye roster, or excuse me, 2023 class that can be bumped up to 4 stars or very, very high 3 stars. Michael Burt, for example, when it's all said and done, I would not be shocked in the least if he becomes a 4-star by at least one of the services, or a very, very high 3-star, 89, 88 grade. So there you guys have it. I just want to mention a little bit about the official visit weekend that is coming up this weekend. A lot of big time visits. As I've said to you guys in the past, and I did a video on this, here is Iowa's current commitments. Iowa does a late official visit weekend. They will, in the past, they have had a few guys here and there come before the June 23rd official visit weekend. But by and large, most of the recruits visit on June 23rd. And the pros and the cons of that are very simple. The pros being that when you're the last, you get to pick apart all the previous people who have received the official visit and take the final swing and leave the final thought that will be on that recruit's mind before they make their commitment. The negative, the obvious negative to it, is when you're the last, you may not get that shot because they may end up committing before you even get that shot. And we have seen that occur now with a few of the recruits that Iowa has had official visits scheduled. Cornerback Jalen Todd, one of the tight ends that Iowa was leading for his commitment in Eric Karmer, high 3-star, 4-star tight end by some services. He visited Florida. There was a different school that I can't remember the second school. Then he visited Texas A&M, and Texas A&M was the visit he did right before Iowa, this June 23rd, and they sealed his commitment. So that's just how it goes. Sometimes you don't even get the chance to make your pitch. And it's too bad because I think that this would have been one of Iowa's best tight end classes had he committed. Iowa still has somebody on the official visit weekend. They're looking to take 2 tight ends, which I will show you guys in a moment, who they're still considering on giving his commitment. But again, pros and cons to any date that you schedule an official visit. The one thing I do want to mention when it comes to what Iowa does, and this really is a benefit, is when you have your official visit weekend late and these recruits have visited other schools, if they can hold off their commitment all the way up until and can, end up taking the official visit with Iowa, if they can hold off and they end up committing to Iowa after all of that, that means they are very sold on Iowa because they have heard all the other pitches and they still chose Iowa. And I think that that's why Iowa does it, is when they receive a commitment from a player, they want to receive a firm, hard commitment as opposed to a soft pledge where the recruit very well may decommit 2 months later and Iowa has to fill that position with somebody else and pour more resources, more energy, more time into a different recruit. So, and over the years, Iowa has had very few decommitments, very few. I mean, it's few and far between. This past recruiting class, Iowa ended up having 2, one from a 5-star that, was getting attention from every school and their mom. So, and the other one actually they received 3, one from a running back, one from offensive tackle Caden Proctor, and one from defensive lineman David Kulker, who ended up going to Iowa State. So, that wasn't great. That was actually a high decommitment year for Iowa, but by and large, they usually only have 1 or 2 that decommit, if not 0. So here's who Iowa is slated to have visit on June 23rd. When I did my previous official visit weekend preview, even now it has changed, as there are guys who have committed elsewhere. There's guys who have canceled the official visit weekend. There's new guys. So all the guys who are uncommitted that are visiting the Iowa Hawkeyes, I believe Iowa has an excellent shot to land all of them. Graham Eben, I think, will leave Iowa with an offer. He's kind of the Phil Parker special where, he sees things that others don't. schools, recruiting services aren't as big on that particular recruit, and Phil Parker ends up turning him into an all Big Ten DB. So there's actually one more name that is not on this list. Let me see if I can get it pulled up here. Let me get it pulled up here. Iowa 247. It's a defensive lineman. You have to pull this down. It's a defensive lineman out of the state of Arizona, and I like Iowa's chances to land him as well. He is an under the radar guy. Devon Kennedy. Now some schools are starting to trickle in for him. I mean, Illinois is offered. It looks like Penn State is offered. So we'll see, but he has an official visit scheduled for Iowa, and that's a big deal. So, all right, folks, that will do it for me and the Nolan Hawkeye Anthony YouTube channel. Again, like, comment, share, subscribe. I want to get to 2,000 subs by the time the football season starts. This channel is definitely moving along. Iowa Hawkeyes receive a commitment from Nebraska tight end, 6'5", 6'6", 220-pound tight end Michael Burt. Big deal. Iowa's 2023 class is shaping up nicely. And the thing that you guys have to remember is it's all the current class that is in place. You need to do the groundwork to have a good foundation of commitments before the season starts, because when the season starts, you can either have an underperforming year or an excellent year. And if you have an excellent year, a better than expected year, it'll get you in the homes of recruits that otherwise you wouldn't have had a chance with. And it's just another chance to build on an already solid class. So that's where Iowa is at. And the Hawkeyes have done an excellent job in the state of Iowa. They are definitely winning the state of Iowa battle when it comes to Iowa State, as Iowa has landed nearly all of the top 10 recruits. I just want to show that real quick so you guys know what I'm talking about. It depends on which recruiting site you're looking at, but according to 247 Sports, Iowa has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the top 10 commits committed to the Hawkeyes. They likely won't get Grant Brix. I think Grant Brix is going to go to Kansas State or Nebraska, sadly. It's too bad, because to me, if you're going to go to a school like Kansas State or Nebraska, you may as well go to Iowa. I would understand if you ended up choosing Alabama or, a Florida or a Texas A&M, but to each their own. And Iowa is currently favored to land the commitment of wide receiver Reese Vanderzee. And if they get the commitment of him, they will have 7 of the top 10 in-state players committed to the Hawkeyes by 247 Sports. All right, guys, like, comment, share, subscribe. And last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow. And facts are feelings, because your feelings just don't matter. Love you guys. See you guys next time. Go Hawks. Bye-bye.